to draw an angle. And that's my symbol for angle, but you can write the word out if you want. You draw your little I'm going to draw 5 of them. Okay. So we're going to draw a 120-degree angle. We're going to draw a 480-degree angle. We're going to draw a negative 1,000-degree angle. We're going to draw a negative 72-degree angle and a negative 120-degree angle. So 480 and 120 are drawn like this, and 120 and 480 are called coterminal angles. They end in the same place. They just didn't go in the same way. Kind of like if you guys live in the same neighborhood and one of you takes 51 and one of you takes 485. Okay? You still end up at home in the same neighborhood, you just went a different way. And in the second case, the 480, you went kind of around in circles. You kind of went out of your way to get there. Okay? You went through Columbia to get to Greensboro, which would not be a good choice. All right, so now negative 1,000. Now we're dealing with the negative angles. So negative angles go in this direction, and you take 1,000. I just take the positive and subtract 360 from it. Oh, I'm still got a big number, and minus 360 again, and now I get down to 280. So that means I have to go around twice in the negative direction. 1, 2, and now I go 280 degrees. Well, to get from here to here is 180. To get from here to here is 90, so I have to go 10 more. So that one ends up there. So you have a negative 1,000. You're going to keep adding 360. I call it getting out of the woods. You're in a negative angle territory, and you need to get out of the woods, right? So you keep adding 360. How many times do I have to add 360 before I get to a positive number? Twice. So you have to go 2 full rotations in a negative direction, and then you have to go 280 more degrees. Well, if you look at your unit circle, this says 0, this says 180, and this says 90, right? So when I'm going in this direction here, from here to here is 180, from here to here is another 90, so I just need 10 more degrees to get 280, okay? You just keep kind of going. But how do I know that? If I take negative 1,000, everybody put it in your calculator, negative 1,000, and add 360, hit enter, still negative, add 360, hit enter, still negative, and add 360 again, and hit enter, you get 80 degrees. You don't want to draw an 80-degree angle, but it's going to end at 80 degrees. Well, if this is 90, wouldn't 80 be just inside of the 90 right there?
Yeah.
So negative 1,000 is coterminal with 80, but you have to still draw the whole trip, okay? When I do negative 72, I know I'm going to go in this direction, and I know it's going to be somewhere in the 4th quadrant because negative 90 would be here. When you're going in this direction, negative 90 would be right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So negative 72 is going to be somewhere before there because you don't have to go 90 degrees. You have to go. So negative 72, we're going to take negative 72 and add 360 to it to get it out of the woods so you know where it ends. And it ends at 288. Well, if this is 0 and this is 270 and we're going in this direction, it's going to end somewhere around here. Would be negative 72 degrees. Does everybody kind of see that? Negative 120 plus 360 ends at 240. And you can look at your unit circle. 240 is over here. Right about here. But you're going in a negative direction. So going negative 120 is the same as going positive 240. You'll end up in the same place. It's just a shortcut. You get there a little quicker. Everybody understand that? So if I did this from here to here, that would be positive 240. But you're ending up in the same place. What does 240 and 120 add up to?
360.
360. So they're not supplementary. Supplementary adds up to 180, but they're two that add up to 360 if it's in the same place. Okay? Now we're going to talk about reference angles. And reference angle, to find the reference angle, find the closest distance to the x-axis. Okay, so let's say I have this angle here, and it is 250 degrees. Okay, what is the closest distance to the x-axis? Number one, this part of the x-axis is closer than that part because it's like a clear shot here, right? So if this is 180 and this is 250, then we've got 70 degrees is the reference angle, because it's how far am I from the x-axis, the closest distance to the x-axis. Okay? Let's say I have an angle here, negative 60 degrees, right? What's the closest distance to get back up to the x-axis?
Positive 60.
60 degrees. Reference angles are always positive. Whenever I'm finding the distance between two people or two things, Alex and I are about 6 feet apart, okay? But he's 6 feet from me and I'm 6 feet from him. It's always a positive number. You don't say that he's negative 6 from me and I'm positive 6 from him. When we have negative and positive is when we're looking at direction, but distance is just positive, okay? So reference angle is how far am I from the x-axis if I need to get back up to the x-axis. Like if you're playing hide and seek and you have to get back to base, x-axis is base. Not the y, the x, okay? They're angles that end up at the same place. Even if they took a different route, they end up in the same place. So, how many coterminal angles can I find for negative 200 degrees? How many coterminal angles can I find?
That circle thing infinite times.
Yeah, I can find infinite number of coterminal angles because I can go around twice, I can go the other way, I can go straight from the other place, but you're going to do this very simply. If I want to find a negative and a positive coterminal angle for negative 200 degrees, I am going to add 360 and subtract 360 until I get one negative and one positive. If I take negative 200 and add 360, what do I get? 160. Everybody see that? And that's the same as this angle.
And so I get one negative and one positive. Is that what it is?
Yep. So 160 is coterminal with negative 200. Does everybody understand that? And now if I take negative 200 and subtract 360, I get negative 560. So let's do that one. And that would be go around once, go around another time, and stop right there. I still end up in the same place. So negative 560 and 160 would be a negative and a positive coterminal angle to negative 200.